Okay, so I really contemplated making this video because this one gets a little personal. But I feel like I should be sharing at least a glimpse into my life just so you know where I'm coming from, a little bit of background, a little bit of how I am literally clinging to faith right now because I don't have it all together. But hopefully one day things will just make a little bit more sense. Like maybe I might have a little more understanding about these things that I am going through. Um, so I haven't always been saved. Um, I did grow up in church, so that was like a foundation for me, even though the people who took me to church weren't saved. They went for show, they went for filling up the pews to make themselves appear and look Christian, but they were not Christian. And I know this because I lived with them. I saw their everyday interactions. I saw how they were, how they talked. So that is one way how I know the difference between being in church for the right reasons, which is Jesus, and just showing up because someone made you feel like you should be there. So, um, fast forward a lot. I have been married twice. Um, my first marriage ended because we were both in a very bad place. I obviously was not like saved, if you will. I mean, I was attending church here and there, and I was one of those who thought that I was Christian because I showed up. Um, but I was very much living a life that did not indicate whatsoever to other people that I was Christian. Um, that marriage ended soon after it started because neither one of us really wanted to be in it. Um, at that time, he was more into wanting to party and still be young. And even though he had a newlywed wife at home and a small baby, because that happened very fast, he left me at home to tend to the home. And basically, I had no choice but to be home because we had a small child and someone had to take care of him. Um, so he was pretty much free to leave and do whatever he wanted, drink, hang out with others, basically just act like he was not married. So that marriage ended. But fast forward to now, um, my how do I word that? Because obviously we're still married. He's my current. Um, so yeah, we just celebrated. Um, gosh, I think it's like seven, 7 years married, and it's not been blissful. I'll just be honest with you. It's not been blissful. But anyway, um, it's hard being or trying to be a follower of Jesus, a Christian, when you are married to someone who wants nothing to do with the church. This is why it is very important to know who you're marrying, to know what your values are, to know where you stand, what your faith is, what you see your life as. Are you going to be a person who is following Jesus and being at the church and serving in your community and doing all the things? Or are you going to be someone who, like, doesn't really care, what your spouse is up to? You guys are married, it doesn't matter, whatever. Those are really important things to get figured out. It's really important that you actually have that conversation with yourself, if you will, because it will affect you. It will affect your life in the long run. It will affect your emotions. It will literally affect your physical body. So those are things you really need to take seriously, and you really need to think about it, because I have been dealing with all these matters for literally 10 years now. Our son just turned 10 not long ago, and it started before then. So I would greatly advise anyone to really know who you are in a relationship with, what matters to them, where do they stand, how do they believe, how do they feel about those things. Because if you guys are not on the same page, the same wavelength, the same spiritual journey, it is better for you to walk away from that before you guys get to the point to where you have children involved. Because it gets very, very hard after a child is put in the relationship, in the situation with you, because every decision you make affects them also. So I would just advise, like, just know who you're with. Who are you? Like, how do you feel about things? Like, just really think about this stuff, because it matters. It matters. I actually didn't become saved and on fire for God until were we already married at that point? I can't honestly remember, okay? Like, I believe, no, it was after. Pretty certain of that. It was after. But anyway, when you choose Christ and you choose to be in the Bible, to believe what the Word of God says, um, to follow, and you have a spouse, or, well, especially a spouse, but if you have someone in your life that kind of looks at you like you're a little nuts for believing what you believe, or doesn't say anything but gets that look of, yeah, okay. I mean, that's kind of the point where I'd be like, maybe we should talk about this. But it gets hard, because if you have someone in your life that literally does not want to go in depth or say a whole lot about that, because let's face it, there are people out there who live for themselves. They live for themselves. They do not want someone telling them which way to go. They don't want anyone making them feel like they don't have control of their life. Like, these are serious matters. So I would very much advise that you be careful of who you're in a relationship with, where they stand, where you stand, and really be careful about who you're choosing as your partner in life, because marriage is a big deal to God. He frowns upon divorce unless it's absolutely necessary. So yes, please be careful, and I'll do a continuance on this at another time, okay? yeah, I'll make up for the rest of this later, but God bless you guys and stay in prayer, okay? Bye.